We have details from last night's town council meeting on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, October 2nd, 2015. I'm Sarah Mannel. Town Council chooses to postpone two big votes related to the reopening of the West Barnstable shooting range. Following Assistant Town Manager Mark Ells' presentation to Town Council last night, Council Vice President Ann Kennedy suggested moving the votes to early next year.
But these monitoring wells will answer for us whether or not the lead is migrating downward or migrating in a plume effect. Both of those scenarios would be bad news because obviously then would be impetus morally, I think, for us to address that. But if it's not, which is what some of the experts have suggested, that lead does not absorb easily unless it's been broken down by acidic rain or something like that, then it is, in my own mind, more likely that DEP could accept the either-or scenario rather than some other little.
That's logical.
Yeah.
I think what they're going to want to do is go the black and white route.
Yeah.
I think they're going to say that, my opinion is they're going to go say to DCS, okay, if there's lead there, make it the municipal parcel and make it the shooting range, and therefore we don't have to go near it ever until it's not a shooting range, and then it's a 21E site. I think that's where they have their policy, and my experience is that's where they will go. Short of that, if we want to stay in the gray area with them, I don't know what might result. So I think that's the way it will go, and then we'll have to go back to DCS and say, okay, DCS, it's not 16.3, it's almost 27 acres, and and that's larger than the 16.3. And then the question will become, and I've already submitted this information of what the value of the parcel offered in exchanges versus this parcel, not even taking into account the lead issues here, and made an argument that it is still a fair exchange of lands, and they've taken it under review.
But that's only if we have to expand past the 16.3 acres, and that's only if...
right. Again, many unknowns still.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here trying to explain this, because that's why this process takes a long time to get closure on each of these pieces. And then we got to go back to all the pieces and see how one decision impacts all those others that we would like to, to make and move this forward.
That's why I'm going to make a motion to postpone this to January 7th.
And the council unanimously voted to support Kennedy's motion. The land swap and special legislation issues will be again considered at the council's January 7th meeting. Council also weighed in on a funding request for a study of contaminants in the soil at the West Barnstable shooting range. A $35,000 request for the installation of groundwater monitoring wells at the shooting range was made to councilors. DPW Director Dan Santos talked about the need for the wells.
As part of the environmental investigation of past activities at the Barnstable shooting range, the DPW proposes to install groundwater monitoring wells in order to determine if groundwater has been impacted by activities at the site. 3 wells are proposed to evaluate water quality both up gradient of the range and within the range. We will also be able to determine site-specific groundwater flow direction and sample soils at depth during the drilling operation. The wells are proposed to be installed, sampled, and analyzed with results received by the end of November. Thank you.
And the council voted unanimously to spend $35,000 to install the groundwater monitoring wells. Santos says the wells will collect data throughout the month of November. Town Council also voted to extend town laws concerning the storage of boats, vehicles, and building and premises maintenance. Town Councilor Jen Cullum urged the council to support the extension before the vote.
Okay, so basically, Chapter 54 sunsetted, and we really wanted to relook at it and re-examine it and figure out what parts of it worked and what parts didn't work. And so Councilor Kennedy, myself, and legal sat down and hammered out some ideas that we have for you tonight, and we've also had a lot of constituent input via different documents. You'll see one of them in your packets tonight from Andy Carroll, who lives on C Street, and she's also here and will speak likely at the public hearing. So the rationale is due to this chapter having a sunset clause as of June 16, 2015, and based upon the previous 2 years in effect, this is a reauthorization of this ordinance with minor revisions. These revisions stem from experience and application and enforcement of the ordinance. The purpose and intent of this chapter is to eliminate nuisances throughout the town. These nuisances include accumulated trash, debris, abandoned and discarded appliances, and stagnant pools of water that contribute to the blight to neighborhoods and commercial areas and further impair the health and safety and general welfare of the inhabitants in the town, as written.
Ultimately, the council voted unanimously to extend those items. Town Council also voted unanimously to spend $450,000 for repairs and renovations to the aging Craigville Beach bathhouse. The building was constructed in the 1920s. Following a 2012 tour, the Recreation Commission deemed it in deplorable condition. DPW Director Dan Santos talked about the need for repairs before the vote.
The Craigville Beach bathhouse is in poor condition, does not meet the operational needs of the Recreation Division, and does not meet current sanitary, safety, and accessibility code requirements. A Department of Public Works evaluation of beach facilities identified this facility as the one with the most significant needs in town. In 2012, the Recreation Commission reported that the condition of the facility was deplorable and considers it their #1 priority for repairs and improvement. Consequently, several years ago, the DPW and Recreation Division started to develop a project for the replacement of the facility. Issues surrounding the cost, which was estimated at the time at several $1 million, and construction in a floodplain necessitated a closer look at the options. This slide here shows the overhead view of the site, Craigville Beach, and the bathhouse building is surrounded with the red box there. That's the project location. And here's, just for reference, some shots of the various elevations around the existing building. Those photographs are taken just this week. I have some photographs here just showing some of the issues and problems. And you can see here issues on the exterior with roof and trim. Very significant issues with non-compliant accessibility to the building, poor entranceways, doors, gaps and openings, spalling concrete, pipes that are rusting. The interior of the building, lots of plumbing problems, in addition to the fixtures that don't meet code, that are old, don't function well, are inefficient. The plumbing itself needs to be replaced. You can see the condition of some of the doors, old hardware that is non-functioning. And here further changing rooms that are non-compliant, building damage. There are structural issues that need to be addressed, both on the base, the first floor and the second floor, and the overhead, and then issues with outdated electric.
Renovations will bring the building into compliance with all building code requirements. Well, be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On Monday's show, we will chat with Town Manager Tom Lynch. We'll talk with Barnstable High School Principal Pat Clark. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.